Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday the 17th of June. So looking at this morning's analysis and looking at the analysis overall, and we're starting to get into sort of these patterns where effectively a consolidation pattern, we're now getting clear direction, whereas a couple of weeks ago we had a nice sort of trend running on the euro, making it a bit more simple in terms of, okay, you're looking towards the bullish side, it's trending up. Here we're back into a situation that we saw way back, where it's a bit more choppy. The market becomes more scalpy as opposed to trying to run for the bigger moves. Now looking at this 4-hourly picture, the euro does have some scope, but you can see it's over the last around about a week since last Wednesday right the way through here, it's built itself into a bit of a wedge pattern. At the moment, it's the one when I'm looking at the sort of matrix of currencies, it's sort of sitting there, probably one of the stronger pairings, the US dollar, the weaker pairings, would you believe it or not. It doesn't really necessarily, okay, it's only over a day I'm looking at that, but it's certainly looking one of the stronger pairings as I sort of recording this at the moment. If we come out to the hourlies here, you just see it's just sort of having it sort of a move to the upside there. I've just popped a trend line on here. If it can really close above that 60-minute 50, perhaps it's got more upside. Problem it has is a whole bundle of resistance right across. You've got the 34, then you've got the 200, and you've got all these points of resistance that traders like selling into. There is 100 hidden with that 34 actually as well, so a double moving average there. So either way, even if it starts pushing up, it could be a slow old move there. And what I've noticed in these markets, they're moving a lot better at sort of 2-3 o'clock. We'll see if this continues through, but all these sort of breaky sort of moves, they've sort of been running around about the sort of 2-3 o'clock zone at the moment, and maybe in line with the US equity markets, but for sure we're seeing these sort of moves then. So this morning I'm sitting on my hands at the moment, looking to see what will happen here. It may be, as I say, a scalpy movement to the upside, but there's plenty of resistance points running through. If it can get a bit of a bid and get running, well, of course, R1, yesterday's highs, look appealing for targets. The pound, just looking at the pound looks a bit more bearish. It's not really. The only currencies it's doing fractionally better is the US dollar and the yen at the moment, and I say fractionally because they're not really doing too much. When you look at the pound here, though, looking a bit softy, shooting star yesterday, soft price action, and you look at this pattern, it looks like a 1, 2, and maybe a third move down, potentially wave down. But it's again, when you look at the shorter time frame, it's consolidated here at this stage, and well, it may catch the bid, and it's got its pivot above, which could be a short-term sort of scalpy trade back to. Again, it's got resistance sitting in all those moving averages because it's just literally been going from pillar to post either side of those moving averages and consolidating. So it makes it a bit more difficult in terms of if we can push through, great. We can sort of be looking back to sort of the 200 there, the R1, and maybe even yesterday's highs. If it stalls into these areas, maybe the sell side may come back into play, and as I say, this wave formation may continue to the downside. Not at all clear, and it may be patience into the afternoon, maybe the answer here. Given unclarity or lack of clarity, look at this Aussie, this yen even. This is 60-minute, but look how it's been chopping, very tightly ranged, but around about actually is it 50 pip range there over the last few days. And most of that range has been sitting in a much tighter 30 pip range sitting in there. So tight, it's making it it certainly wouldn't be want to be trading the dollar yen necessarily at the moment. At some stage it may take a massive rally, but or short, but who knows. It's just consolidated sideways, not even really giving range bound trades there. So moving away from that, in that case, Aussie dollar, looking for something a little bit more lively. The Aussie remains one of the strongest, if not the strongest currency. out there compared to the range. Looking like it's trying to break at this stage, break back to the upside again. You could be drawing, in fact I think I may have drawn it, no I didn't, but you could be drawing the trend line to the downside there. Break of that becomes much more bullish. Where it's sitting at the moment, again it's sort of struggling around here. The same sort of picture that you see across a lot of these markets, struggling. And as I say, patience may be the best thing this morning, and see if we can get some sort of break we can jump onto in the afternoon. But at the moment, struggling along. It's just the way they're sitting. Okay, and finally, the Canadian dollar is going to be more of the same really here. It's probably done a little bit better. It's back. It's got a base level here around about the 35.22 area. A breakdown of that, well, we could, again it's got support almost straight underneath it in the form of a moving average, but may see just it trail down a little bit further, but difficult to judge too much, although as I say, it's got more of a trend than some of these others have on the 60-minute at least. Daily wise, well, it's still got the lower highs coming through there and that reaction, but it's slow, more of a swing currency in the best of times for me, rather than the intraday currency. It can be too whippy intraday swing wise. As long as you've got big enough stops, you're fine with that. The oil price then it sort of tones in quite nicely. It's flattened out a little bit where it is. Yesterday had a little bit more of a move to the upside. As we're looking through this, it's sort of consolidating at this moment, but just as I said, the upside theme really still sits there. There's sort of a trend that's been running through this morning, and it sort of started pitching through. But again, this was another one that took off yesterday afternoon, although a bit earlier. But I'm still looking for the potential further upside of this oil at the moment, and expected, to me it's a reasonable buy. Okay, that's the oil, and finally the S&Ps. Start looking from the dailies. Some of the Asian indices are down a bit this morning. There's a bit of unrest with Korea, again North Korea. S&P's here, though bullish yesterday, turned its corner a little bit there. But both nice little pivot swing in there actually, looking quite bullish. Today, well, holding up at the moment, and we could be breaking out of this consolidation phase to the upside. He's tried it a few attempts around that 31.30 area. Maybe it'll get the kicker it needs, but it's in a consolidated form here at the moment. It's like a lot of these markets, if it breaks down through that 34, it's got a chance back at the lows there, but it becomes quite a scalpy opportunity really, I think, on that. At the moment it's still erring, and I say erring at the moment, it's erring towards the upside. Right, that's it for me. News wise today, there's not a lot of significant news until 5 o'clock actually, so it's a slow old day on the data. It's all low key. Inflation data coming through from CAD. It's just, well, in 1:30 we might see a bit of volatility on the Canadian dollar there, but I was just looking as inflation figures already out this morning for the UK. They were pretty well, actually in line, 0.5 inflation there, but the core data was quite low at 1.2 versus 1.3. So some of the numbers quite soft there, but I think everyone's cottoned on to the fact that this data at the moment is not really doing too much, unless it's a major change to expectation, but it's got to be a real outlier for it to do too much at all. That's it for me. Have a great day. I'll speak to you in the morning. Bye for now.